mystery writers. Welcome to Write a Killer Mystery, and I'm Zara Altair. And today I want to talk about 5 skills you really need in order to create your great mystery. First, I want to thank my patrons on Patreon for their continued support of this video series and my mystery writing. And if you'd like to join us, there's a link in the description below. Okay, from clues to conclusions, what does it take for you to write a mystery? What are the skills that you need to employ to get that mystery written? So let's just go through 5 of them one by one. So first of all, you need what storytellers need: creativity and imagination. As a mystery writer, your greatest asset is your ability to conjure unique and compelling stories that grab your reader's attention from the first page. It's going to be different. Your imagination creates that story that brings the readers in. It sets you apart in the world of mystery writing. You want to generate plot ideas that haven't been explored before. Yes, I know there's only 5, 10, 24, whatever basic stories, but you want your mystery to be unique, and it's what keeps your readers reading. And just let your imagination soar as you brainstorm those intriguing scenarios and unexpected twists. That's what keeps readers turning pages. Think outside the box. So, equally as important as creating complex and engaging characters, you want your protagonist and your suspects, each one of your characters, to be totally unique. You want them to leap off the page. You want them to captivate your readers with depth and authenticity. So dive right into their motivations and their fears and their desires. And that's the way you breathe life into your characters. So your creativity enables you to invent personalities that are going to intrigue your readers. So take inspiration from accomplished mystery writers who have mastered the skills of creativity and imagination. Think of Agatha Christie's ability to craft very intricate puzzles, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's ingenious introduction of Sherlock Holmes and his deductive reasoning is a character that resonates, that you remember. So allow yourself to explore those uncharted regions and put them into your mystery. Skill 2 is something you probably hadn't thought about, and that is attention to detail. A mystery is like a jigsaw puzzle. There are all these pieces scattered all around, and your detective and your reader have to put them together one by one in order to form that coherent image of what really happened. And in the world of mystery writing, attention to detail is akin to the process of piecing together all those puzzle pieces and putting them all together. First, you have to use that imagination that you have to come up with all those pieces. And you want to give them all detail. So your ability to pay close attention to small clues and subtle nuances makes all the difference in captivating your reader and keeping them reading, because they're like, oh, did that character really mean what they said? Or am I understanding them right? You want those nuances. You want to keep your readers asking questions, because when they ask questions, they keep reading to find out what that little nuance really meant. All right. So every detail, no matter how seemingly insignificant, has the potential to hold a vital clue. And I know I've talked about this when I talked about hiding clues in your mystery, is that the details and how you arrange the details have a very important significance in the way you present the puzzle to your reader. So what you're going to be doing is weaving in hints and foreshadowing that hint at what's going to come in the future, but without blatant flashing neon signs. It's like when the reader later on in your story, oh, I remember when that detail happened. Right? That's what you want to do. It seems insignificant when you first present it, but it has an importance. And the importance depends on your imagination and how you fit that puzzle piece into the story. So, Raymond Chandler and Gillian Flynn have demonstrated the power of attention to detail. Chandler's iconic detective, Philip Marlowe, tirelessly scrutinizes his surroundings. He looks at everything for even the faintest hint of something. And while Flynn intricately layered her narratives with subtle clues that keep readers engrossed till the end. So it's really important. Your attention to detail is a major part of creating a mystery that really keeps readers engaged. It goes way beyond the plot to the details that are hidden but right there in plain sight. Right? So, on the other hand, skill number 3 is plotting and pacing, and that is your ability to construct that big framework that is the frame, the skeleton, as it were, of your mystery puzzle. So your mystery plotting and pacing keeps your readers hooked. It keeps them wanting to find out what happens next. It's essential to develop a plot that's not only captivating but has a logical progression, because you don't want your readers to stop reading and go, wait, I don't understand. Back in chapter 2, this happened, and it doesn't make sense that this is happening in chapter 30 or whatever it is. Readers remember. So you want to make sure that your plot is logical, and it at the same time presents a series of challenges to your detective that they have to overcome. And those are the obstacles that keep popping up that keep the story progressing. Then each twist and turn propels your story to the next stage. So, and pacing plays a critical role in maintaining reader engagement. You don't want too much action. You don't want it fast-paced all the time. You need to keep that pacing even, so when you have a big, exciting scene, you can balance it with something that's more reflective and alternate those scenes so the pacing keeps your reader going. It may seem like having your story exciting is going to hold your reader interest, but what happens is that emotionally your reader gets tired of being excited, just like we do, or like a little kid who gets overexcited when they go to the fair or something like that. The same thing happens with your reader, so you want to make sure that your pacing gets them excited and then gives them some breathing room. Really important. So map up your major events and the clues and the revelations so you have a good, clear idea of how your story is going to progress, and then experiment with pacing techniques that works for you and your style of writing and storytelling. Okay, Skill 4 is research skills. And that is knowing what you're talking about, actually. And so there, research is the foundation of your story, and you have to possess strong research skills to create believable and authentic narratives. And you add depth and credibility to your story, and that goes for research about character personalities, goes for research about the locations where your story takes place. It goes for uh, the logistics of how things happen in your plot. I mentioned earlier how you want your plot to be logical. So you want to make sure that you're portraying a particular time period correctly, or depicting the nuances of a psychological profile. Your research is the guiding light that keeps you on track, because no matter what you're writing about, some reader out there reading your book is going to be an expert. And if you don't get it right, they will question not just that detail that you got incorrect, that you wrote incorrectly, but also the whole story, and it can put people off. So research is really important. Don't guess. If you don't know, look it up. Find your background material. Um, think of yourself as an investigator. That's what you're doing. You're investigating the background for your story, and that's what research does. So writers like Patricia Cornwall and Michael Connolly demonstrate the power of research. Cornwall does meticulous research in forensic science and criminal investigation, and that leads to authenticity for her case Scarpetta stories. And Connolly has his detailed knowledge not just of police procedures, but of LA and the whole Southern California area. In his stories, you always know where you are geographically, and if you got off a map, you could trace Bosch from one point to another. So those details really add to the verisimilitude of your story. Okay, and skill number 5 is mastering clues and those red herrings that you put in your story. And those are the things that they're essential tools of mystery. Readers expect them. Readers look for clues, because part of the game of reading a mystery is the reader wants to solve the puzzle before your detective does, and part of your challenge is to keep them from doing that until the very end. And the clues lead to those labyrinths of discovery that keep your reader from finding out what's important until that moment of truth. But first, you have to have those clues, and you have to know where and when they're going to occur in your story. They provide hints and pieces of information that, when your reader and your detective put them all together, they form the truth of the story and what your detective is trying to uncover. So you want to space your clues throughout your story. You don't want to have a whole bunch at the beginning and then nothing, nothing, nothing. Just keep dropping them in, dropping in more hints, more clues, and they're like breadcrumbs that lead your detective and the reader on the trail of solving that puzzle. And then red herrings, and mystery readers expect these too. Red herrings are the deceptive elements. They feel like clues at the beginning, but they lead to a false trail, and you can think of them as obstructions for your detective. They spent all this time following this red herring trail, and it came to naught. And I've talked about them before, but just again, You don't want too many of these, otherwise your reader's going to feel like you're tricking them. So one or two is fine. More than that, you need to be very, very cautious with red herrings. Um, so once again, you can study Agatha Christie and Raymond Chandler because they both handle clues very well, and they're very subtle about the way they lay their clues, even though the story tone is completely different for those two writers. The way they handle their clues is masterful, so it pays to read really good writers. So you're the architect of the enigma, and so you have the power and the control to place the clues when and where they belong successfully in your mystery story. So that's it. 5 tips for skills that you need to write a really good mystery. And so, congratulations on exploring these 5 skills. And I suggest that you put them to use and get writing on your mystery. And also, if you're looking for help, the course Write a Killer Mystery walks you through all the basics from the beginning story idea all the way through developing your characters and working with the setting and planting your clues and working with red herrings and developing the obstacles that keep thwarting your detective and challenging them in their search for the truth. And there's a link to Write a Killer Mystery in the description below. And if you're looking for help with keeping it all together and lining out your plot, I encourage you to investigate Plotter. It's a great tool for not only developing your plot and your storyline, but also keeping a lot of details, your research details, your character details, your setting details. So you have it all in one place. It's like creating your own reference book for writing your story. All right, then also I wanted to say that in the month of August, I'm undergoing major surgery, and I'm just going to be unavailable for at least 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks. So this series is going to restart sometime, probably the end of August. And so in the meantime, just keep writing, working on your mysteries, and I will see you when I have gone through some recovery. All right, thank you for being here, and thank you for all your questions and your notes, and I will see you soon.